What is going on, guys? I'm Daniel, you're on Hustle Every Day, and today we are taking a quick look at the Central Pneumatic 20-pound sandblaster. We are going to step outside here in just a couple minutes. We're going to try to sandblast the paint off some factory Ford OEM wheels, and hopefully it works. But before we do that, I want to flip the camera around, show you how this is put together for those of you that just bought this or who are thinking about buying it, and then we'll get outside and we'll start blasting. All right, guys, here she is in all her glory, the 20-pound Central Pneumatic sandblaster. I do quickly want to start off with a couple of PSAs. This hose is a little bit short. I had to clock this in kind of an awkward direction to get the hose to run down and connect down there. It's okay, but what I'll probably end up doing is get a little bit longer hose. The problem is you're limited by all of these threads, and they all need to be threaded in tight because these are air lines. So you've basically got to clock it in whatever way works while also having all of these threads, and there's about 1,000 of them on this thing. They all have to be tight. Same with down here. So they're pretty much going to point in the direction that they want to point. They show you a nice picture on the instructions of everything being nice and straight up and down, and maybe that's possible with enough Teflon tape, but this is the way mine came out looking, and it's fine. It is what it is. Another PSA here is, you see this metal air hose, metal air line, it just goes straight to this connection here, whereas if you look at the page, the picture on the front of the instruction manual, they show a valve on that line. But if we flip through the instructions, there is no valve on that metal air line. When they show you putting it together here, this metal line goes straight into that. So basically what we're looking at, this going straight into here. So if you are one of those people that does not look at directions and you just like to go from the picture on the front, I would recommend at very least flipping a few pages back, or if you go to the very end of the instruction manual, they give you a really nice layout of how everything goes. That's pretty much what I used for the most part because it is pretty self-explanatory. But like I said, there's a ton of connections, so make sure you pay close attention to what is going where. And the last PSA, I guess, is regarding this lid right here. So it's nice, it's heavy. The threads are very, very good, very deep threads. They give you a nice gasket right here. But unfortunately, when I first threaded this on, it would not go. It felt like I was cross-threading it, but I knew I wasn't because after about 20 tries, it was continually hard to get on. What I found was they had previously ran some media through here, I'm guessing to test it out, and these threads were full of media. Same with inside here, and you can probably see a little bit of media still in there. I wiped these off with a napkin, and the napkin was completely black when I was done. So what I recommend before trying to put this cap on, clean off your threads, and then as you're putting it on, you see now it's pretty easy. If you feel any tight spots, wind it back, wind it forward, work it out a little bit, because it does get a lot easier. But mine got stuck so bad that if you look here, there's some marks from a mallet. I actually had to beat this loose. See, the problem is, the reason I had to do that is because of these handles right here. When this thing gets stuck and you're trying to pull on it or push on it, that is a knuckle buster right there. So I had to get the mallet out and beat on it a little bit. I did get it loose, and then I found out the issue. So just keep that in mind with this lid. It's not always going to be that hard to put on. You see I'm doing this with one hand. It is all the way tight. The gasket is smashed down. But the first few tries, it was locked on. So now let's take just a second to look at how this thing is put together. You have your long metal air line here. It goes into a splitter piece here. You have a valve up here. have a very nice water catch right here if you live in a high humidity area. This is about a $30 water catch right here. Another valve right here. This is going to control your air. This is going to control your throttle. Okay, and this actually did not come on it. This is a piece that I've created because I think I'm going to try to run 2 air compressors on this and see if that helps my CFM a little bit. I haven't tried it. I have not used this yet. I've watched a couple videos where people say that CFM is very important. So I thought for $5 I could build this out and run 2 air lines in. If you do have a strong enough air compressor, which I might, I don't know yet. We're going to try both, a single and a double. You do have your inlet right here, and again, your air valve. These valves are very nice, very thick. They're not your cheap Chinesium metal that's like a 1/10 of an inch thick. I mean, these are very thick. They're not going to bend, so that's pretty nice. Run down here to the bottom. Okay, you have another valve down there. That is your media valve that controls the media. You have kind of another splitter piece there. Air runs in, media runs in, and then it runs out to essentially your blasting line. And this is your very last valve here. This is going to be your on-off valve for your media. They say do not try to control it. Control the amount of media with this. You're going to want to control the amount of media with this here, because if you try to use this, it's already pushing so much media through that if you turn this halfway or whatever, however much you need it to control your throttle, you're going to end up wearing this valve out here. You'll notice this is, I guess it's fairly standard, but to me it feels like a little bit of a makeshift handle. I've seen other ones that are very similar to this, but essentially you have a little connector piece there. You have a throttle here, another connector piece here, and then I guess you call this another connector piece. This is your end where I guess your far end runs out of. Basically, you just it's very easy to get on and off. You don't have to tighten it an extremely large amount. So that's nice for if you ever want to change your end. They do give you 4 separate ends, as you can see right there. And they're pretty easy to switch out. You just pop it out from down there. When you thread it in, it does kind of get stuck in there. There we go. Oh man, I broke it. I already broke one of them. Oh well, we'll have to order some more. So obviously you're gonna have to be really careful tightening this up. It does have a little gasket in there, as you can see. I'm assuming that this gasket gets tightened too tight up against that, it's going to cause it to break. So luckily we have 3 more over there. We'll be trying one of those, but I guess another PSA yet again. Be careful the way you tighten this down because these will crack out. Alright guys, so with that said, that is a quick little overview of the system. I did not want to spend too long. I'm sorry, last night I bit my tongue really bad. It's swollen up, it's tough to talk. So if I sound funny, that is why. Let's go outside. Let's hook this thing up to an air compressor, maybe 2, we'll see, and start hitting the Ford wheels that I have sitting out in my driveway, and we'll see if this thing actually works. Alright, so we're outside in front of the beautiful 7.3 that just got done chooching. We have everything hooked up. I was debating on using my, I don't know if you can see it over there, smaller air compressor, but I just don't think it's going to be enough, so we have hooked it up to the larger air compressor that's back behind there. If you can see it, I don't know. There it is. You can see the edge of it. So that is a 26 or 30 gallon air compressor. So I think that's going to be a little bit better just because it's going to have a little bit more CFM than my like 6 gallon air compressor or whatever that thing is. I think that thing will put out the power for a short amount of time, but we need the large amount of air. So this is what we'll be working on right here. We have 4 of these, 3 more over here. These have not really had anything done to them. These I've already done a little bit of grinding, and I'm not even gonna lie, I did test this out for about 2 minutes just because there's some specific steps that you have to go through to to make it work properly, and I didn't want to be walking circles on camera, so I blasted for just a second. I saw that it seemed to work, but I wanted to really give it the first go with you guys watching also. So let's set this down. I'll run through the little series of steps that you're supposed to go through to make sure that you utilize it properly. I'm going to turn the air compressor on, so there might be some high-speed video here coming up, but you will get to see whether or not this is worth $89 or maybe $69 if you can find it on sale, and whether I recommend you guys buying one. So the first step is to make sure that your air compressor regulator is set at 90 psi, which I don't think you can see, but mine is. And then they tell you to come over here, and the first thing you want to do is turn this on, which mine is on, my air compressor is not, but you're hearing the water regulator just release a little bit of pressure. That's typical. It's not releasing pressure from the canister, it's just releasing pressure from the air compressor over there. Once I open up this valve right here, it'll start allowing the air to go through. So you open this valve, then we open this valve, which is to release the air. And then down here is the throttle valve. So this is where you control the amount of sand. And I'll tell you, don't turn it all the way on. I tried, I opened it all the way up, and the thing literally just dumped sand out of the nozzle to the point of clogging, and that was it. So all the way open, I mean, it just pours sand out of the end of this thing right here. So definitely regulate it. You also want to regulate it based on the amount of air that's coming through. And then the last step is this one right here. Open this up. They say do not regulate the sand with this right here. If you, like I said in there, I think I already told you this, but I'm going to tell you this PSA again. If you regulate the sand with this, it's going to destroy the valve, because essentially the sand is going to be sandblasting the inside of the valve. So if you need to turn it off utilizing this, we recommend quick open, quick close. You regulate using this guy right here. And as you guys saw in the house, this is just a porcelain tip, so be really careful. I know when you get in the middle of working, I know for me, I like drop my pliers on the ground or something as I stand up to walk away. Don't drop this. If you drop this on the ground, it's like dropping a porcelain plate on the ground. It's going to break. You can get new ones, but let's make these last as long as possible. I also have the biggest nozzle on there to start with. So we may go through a couple nozzles. It came with 4 nozzles. I now have 3, obviously, because one broke. But we're going to start with the biggest just because bigger is always better, right? So we'll flip the camera around and get the air compressor turned on, and we'll see what happens with this bad boy. All right, so after about 7 minutes of sandblasting, we now have to answer the big question. Is this thing any good? Personally, I would say it's an absolutely awesome piece of equipment. I have no affiliation with Harbor Freight. They don't give me anything. Like I say in every video, I buy everything I have. These reviews are honest and truthful, but don't believe me. Let's flip the camera around and take a look of a comparison between an area that I did and an area that I didn't do. Keep in mind, once again, this is about 7 minutes of sandblasting, so is it going to be extremely quick? Probably not. Is it a little messy? Absolutely. You're using sand to blast off paint or media of whatever kind of media you're using. But is it easy to clean up? Yeah, I mean, just grab a blower and blow it away. Luckily, the street's black, the media is black, so what do you know? It's like it's meant to be. You could also do it out in your yard and probably just leave the stuff in the yard. I don't know much about it, but especially if you don't care much about your yard, then it probably wouldn't be a big deal to do it in your yard. But let's go ahead and turn the camera around, take a look at these couple of areas, and you can leave a comment down below and tell me what you think. Is this something that you'd buy? Do you think it's any good? Do you have one, or have you used one before? And if so, what do you think? All right, so once again, 7 minutes of sandblasting. This is all the area that I've done. A little bit right there. This is all completely done in here. I have a few little areas there, but I went around most of this, went down through here. One thing I learned very quickly, it's not like spray painting. You don't want to move fast. You want to take it very slow and just allow it to chip away the paint, primer, whatever you have, clear coat, whatever it is you have on here. But let's go to a side that is not done. I did not touch with the sandblaster, and this is what pretty much what that started off looking like. So there's, you know, chips of clear coat and paint and primer, I don't know, whatever. You know, it has some peeling right there where it's gotten some water underneath the clear coat. So this is what this area looked like before I started. You know, a lot of this crap down in here. Well, you can see it, but there's a lot of stuff down in there. Overall, I mean, it looks pretty bad beforehand. We'll go back to the after. Yeah, I mean, it definitely works well. I can tell you it's better than grinding. It's better than using a steel wool or a steel brush or something like that. And from a distance, I think we'll probably be able to tell the side pretty easily. So clearly, that's the non-sandblasted side. That's the sandblasted side. So I would say it worked pretty well. $89, probably not a bad investment if you have something like this to do. And it's going to take some time. It's a slow process, but isn't anything worth doing going to take a little bit of time? With that said, thanks for watching. Please make that sub button great again and click it. That helps me out a lot. Like I said, I'm not monetized. I do all this out of my own pocket. If you don't want to hit the sub button, hit the like button. Maybe drop a comment down below. Let me know what you think of the videos. Let me know what you think of the sandblaster. And as always, most importantly, you guys have an incredible day and hustle every single day. Thanks. Till next time.